Okay, this is note 7-1 about polynomials. We have discussed this before, so it should look familiar to you. Today we're going to talk about what polynomials look like, as well as how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide polynomials. So the first thing is some terminology. So the degree of the polynomial is the value of the exponent of the term with the greatest degree. In other words, basically, your degree is the largest exponent. Remember, exponents are these little numbers right here. So this would be a degree 3, which we'll get to in just a little bit. So a polynomial is in standard form when the terms are arranged in order from greatest to least. So what that means is you're going to have your largest exponent in the front, and then it's going to decrease in exponents as you go to the right. So some examples, if you don't have any degree at all, there's no variable. You won't see an x, a y, a z, anything. If you have a degree 1, it's just the variable. Degree 2 has an exponent of 2. Degree 3 has the largest exponent of 3. Degree 4, you can see it, the largest exponent is 4. And degree 5, the largest exponent is 5. That's pretty self-explanatory. So just make sure you know the largest exponent. So we're going to rewrite each polynomial in standard form. So what we need to do is when they're in order from greatest to least. So in order to do that, we have to rearrange all of these so that they're in standard form. So your standard form should be x cubed minus x squared plus 2x minus 5. So you always want to keep your signs associated with it as well. So your leading coefficient is the number in front of the first term when it's in standard form. So our leading coefficient, we don't have a number here, so it's just 1. The degree is 3 because that's the largest exponent. And then the number of terms is, this would be a term, this would be a term, this is a term, and this is a term. So we have 4 terms in this. Okay, so then y'all can do number 2 on your own. So to add polynomials, add or subtract, you're going to combine like terms and make sure that you write it in standard form, meaning your largest exponent is first, and then your smallest exponent is at the end. So to subtract, make sure you subtract the whole polynomial. So you're going to, like this would be 6, or once it's in standard form, this would be negative 5x squared minus 4x squared. And you can only add or subtract like terms, so your exponents have to be the same. That's why it's important to write it in standard form first, is so you can make sure that you write the appropriate equation and don't get everything confused. So this first polynomial is already in the correct form, so I'm going to leave it. I do have to rearrange this one, so I'm just going to rewrite this first one. So 3x squared, oh, I'm sorry, this is not in the right order. Gotcha. This 2x cubed needs to go first. So 2x cubed plus 3x squared minus x. That's my first one in standard form. And then it's going to be plus 2x squared plus 6x plus 1. So the reason that you want to write these in standard form is because now you can just add the terms with the same exponents and you don't have to like look across and get all confused. So I only have one term with an exponent of 3, so that's going to be 2x cubed. And I can add 3x squared plus 2x squared to be 5x squared. Negative x plus 6x is going to be 5x, and then I still have my plus 1. And that would be my final answer because this is in standard form. We have my greatest exponent first, and then they decrease as I go to the right. So when you subtract, I'm going to get you started on this one, and then you guys can finish it off. Again, I just need you to remember that you have to distribute this minus sign to all of these terms. So I'm going to write it in standard form first. So this is going to be 2x cubed minus 5x squared plus 6x minus 1, and that's going to be minus x cubed minus 4x squared. I'm sorry, that should be plus 4x squared. Plus 2x. So when I subtract, I need to subtract each of these terms. So if it helps you to write it without your parentheses, like 2x cubed minus 5x squared plus 6x minus 1, that should be minus x cubed minus 4x squared minus 2x. And then from here, you can combine like terms. And it's already in standard form, so you shouldn't have to rearrange anything after that. Okay, so multiplying polynomials, especially since these are not two binomials, like this is a binomial, this is a trinomial, you can't FOIL. You can, but it's a longer process. So what I would advise is using the box method. This is a good visual representation, and it also keeps your work organized and in the right order. Oops, I need to add another box. So my binomial is going to go on the side because I made 2 rows, and then my polynomial or my trinomial is going to go on the top. So 4x squared minus 3x minus 1. So how you need to multiply is by multiplying the things on the outside. So in order to fill in this box, I'm going to multiply x times 4x squared. So that's going to be 4x cubed. X times negative 3x is negative 3x squared. And then x minus 1 times negative 1 is going to be negative x. And then we repeat for the second row. So 2 times 4x squared is going to be 8x squared. 2 times negative 3x is going to be negative 6x. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. So again, you're just multiplying the things on the outside to get to the inside. Be mindful of your signs, don't lose them. Then we have to combine your like terms. If you make sure that everything is standard form, your like terms should be in your diagonals. So my final answer should be 4x squared cubed, my bad, sorry, 4x cubed, and then 8x minus 3x squared is going to be plus 5x squared. Negative 6x plus negative x is going to be negative 7x. And then I still have minus 2. So that should be your answer. Okay, we'll look at number 3. It's the same thing. You're just going to have a box that's 3 by 3. So this is going to be x squared, 9x, 7, and 3x squared, 9x, and 5. It doesn't matter. I could put this trinomial on the top and this trinomial on the side. It doesn't matter. Just make sure that you keep everything together, meaning everything in the first trinomial should be either on the top or on the side. Everything in the second should be either on the top or on the side. Okay, so then we multiply 3x squared times 3x squared is going to be 3x to the 4th. Remember, when you're multiplying variables, you add the exponents. So then x squared times 9x is going to be 9x cubed. X squared times 5 is going to be 5x squared. 3x squared times 9x is going to be 27x cubed. 9x times 9x is 81x squared. 9x times 5 is 45x. And then my last row, 7 times 3x squared is 21x squared. 7 times 9x is 63x. And lastly, 7 times 5 is 35. So again, I can add my diagonals and combine like terms. Just be mindful of your signs. So my final answer should be 3x to the fourth. Okay, so we have 3x to the fourth, and then I add 27x cubed plus 9x cubed. So that's going to give me 36x cubed. Then I add all three of these terms. I'm going to add 21x squared plus 81x squared plus 5x squared. That's going to be 107x squared. Then I can add my x's. 63x plus 45x is going to be 108x. And then lastly, we just have 35. Okay, so the box method helps you keep your work organized, and it also allows you to combine like terms relatively quickly. The biggest mistake that I want you guys to be aware of, remember when you're multiplying two terms, you add the exponents. So like when we multiply 3x squared times x squared, we got 3x to the fourth. But when we're adding, when we combine like terms, you're only adding the coefficients. So make sure that you're aware of that as you're going through this. So when you're multiplying, add your exponents. When you're adding, you just add the coefficients or the numbers. Okay, the last little bit is dividing. We were dividing by single term, so it should be pretty straightforward. So if we have 4x cubed minus 8x squared plus 6x, I'm going to divide that by 2x. I'm going to rewrite this as a fraction because I believe it's easier to see. I know y'all hate fractions. This is actually going to be a lot easier for you to visually see how this works. Okay, so when we divide, what we're going to do is we're going to divide each term by 2x. So if I have 4x cubed divided by 2x, 4 divided by 2 is 2. And then x cubed divided by x, you subtract your exponents, so that's going to become x squared. Okay, so again, I divide my number by coefficients, subtract your exponents. So then when we have negative 8x squared divided by 2x, that's going to be negative 4x, because negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. X squared divided by x is just x. And then for your third term, 6x divided by 2x. 6 divided by 2 is 3, and then those x's cancel each other out. So that would be your final answer, and it's in standard form. Good to go. So that's just a quick review of adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. You guys will have a quiz over this and tomorrow's lesson on Friday. You're responsible for doing the problems that I did not do in this